The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Threxus of the Valorian Empire began his address. Representatives from 47 species sat in their designated pods, translation matrices humming softly. This summit would determine trade routes through the Kepler corridor for the next century, a matter of wars and fortunes. Siren Kale, the human diplomatic aide, stood at the back of the chamber, datapad in hand. She was technically there to observe, but 3 months working alongside Ambassador Chun had taught her that observe meant anticipate every possible disaster. At 26, she was the youngest member of Earth's delegation, chosen specifically because humanity needed eyes and ears everywhere. The galaxy still didn't quite trust them, these aggressive primates who'd gone from wooden ships to warp drives in mere centuries. The Valorian's voice, translated into a rumbling bass, echoed through the chamber. The proposed tariffs are unacceptable to, a high-pitched wail shattered the diplomatic atmosphere. Every head turned. In the Caltharian pod, Ambassador Threxus's cub, Arvik, had somehow escaped his containment field. The small creature, barely 2 feet tall with silvery fur and enormous eyes, tumbled down the steps, crying with the universal sound of a frightened child. Siren's breath caught. Caltharians were notoriously protective of their young. Protocol demanded that only Caltharian hands touch a cub. The nearest Caltharian security officer was 3 tiers away, moving with the slow dignity his species considered proper. Arvik stumbled again, his cries intensifying. The sound triggered something primal in Siren's chest, that same instinct that made humans run toward burning buildings instead of away from them. She moved. The chamber erupted in shocked chittering and gasps. A human approaching a Caltharian cub? Unthinkable, dangerous! Threxus rose from his seat, mandibles clicking in what could only be alarm or rage. Siren dropped to one knee beside Arvik, making herself small and non-threatening. "Hey there, little one," she said softly, her translator set to emit soothing tones rather than words. "You're okay. You're safe." Arvik's huge eyes liquid silver with flecks of gold locked onto hers. He hiccuped, tiny clawed hands reaching up instinctively. Every being in the chamber held their breath. Except Siren. She'd grown up with 7 younger cousins. She knew scared kids didn't care about diplomatic protocols. She reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out a juice box, the apple kind, with the cartoon Earth animals on it. She'd packed it this morning out of habit, a reminder of home. "Look," she whispered, holding it where Arvik could see. "It's good, sweet, wanna try?" Arvik's cries reduced to whimpers. His small nose twitched. Cautiously, he reached for the bright package. Siren helped him puncture the seal with the tiny straw, guiding it gently to his mouth. The cub took a tentative sip, then another. His tail, which had been rigid with fear, slowly began to curl contentedly. "There we go," Siren murmured, settling onto the floor cross-legged with Arvik now cradled in her lap. "Everything's okay now." The silence in the chamber had transformed from shock to something else entirely. Ambassador Threxus descended from his pod with surprising speed, his usually composed demeanor cracked. But as he approached, Siren noticed his mandibles weren't positioned for aggression. They were trembling. "He accepted you," Threxus said, his voice barely above a whisper. "A cub will not take comfort from one he senses danger in. This is unprecedented." Arvik made a small chirping sound, still clutching the juice box like treasure, one tiny hand now gripping Siren's finger with surprising strength. The Zanati delegate, a crystalline being who'd voted against every human proposal for the past 6 months, spoke up. The human's response time was 0.73 seconds from the child's distress to physical intervention. She prioritized the young one's safety over political consequence. Over her own safety, corrected the Meridian ambassador, whose species had fought a brief war with Earth decades ago. Caltharian adults can be formidable when cubs are threatened. Threxus's mandibles clicked softly, a Caltharian laugh. "Indeed we can." He knelt beside Siren, close enough that she could see her reflection in his compound eyes. But she assessed the true threat. Not to the cub from her, but to the cub from his own fear. You responded as Kim would." Arvik chirped again, and to everyone's astonishment, reached one hand toward his father while keeping the other firmly attached to Siren. "Humans have a saying," Siren said quietly, carefully transferring Arvik to his father's arms. The cub protested until she promised he could keep the juice box. "It takes a village to raise a child. We mean that children belong to everyone. That protecting them is everyone's responsibility. regardless of who their parents are. The chamber remained silent, but the quality of that silence had fundamentally changed. Ambassador Chun, who'd been frozen in diplomatic horror, finally found his voice. "I apologize for the interruption, honored delegates. We will, of course, understand if Ambassador Threxus wishes to file a formal complaint." "A complaint?" Threxus stood, Arvik secure in his arms, still sipping apple juice. "No. I wish to propose an amendment to today's agenda." Every translator hummed with renewed attention. "Humanity has been petitioning for full council membership for 3 standard years. We have cited concerns about their aggression, their impulsivity, their youth as a species." Threxus's mandibles spread in what Siren had learned was a smile. "But today I witnessed something more important than military might or technological achievement. I witnessed moral instinct. The immediate, unthinking prioritization of a child's welfare over political advantage." He looked at Siren, then at the assembled delegates. "Perhaps what the galaxy needs is not less human impulsivity, but more of their particular brand of recklessness. The kind that runs toward danger when someone small and helpless cries out." The Xanathi delegate chimed, crystals ringing like bells. "I second Ambassador Threxus's motion to advance humanity's membership application." "Thirded," added the Meridian. Ambassador Chun looked like he might faint from shock. Siren, still sitting on the floor, watched Arvik drain the last of the juice box and beam with sticky-faced satisfaction. The little cup waved at her and she waved back. Sometimes, she thought, the most important diplomatic tools weren't treaties or trade agreements. Sometimes they were just juice boxes and the simple certainty that kids, all kids, everywhere deserve to feel safe.